lot of change on the coaching side since we saw you last time. Just, I guess, just first of all, Coach Lanning, taking the job, but also, I mean, Coach Muschamp now kind of more front and center. I know you just been at practice a couple of times. To start with him, first of all, any initial changes you noticed as far as the defense goes with Coach Muschamp kind of calling shots?
First, I want to say that I'm completely in full support of Coach Lane's decisions. We're rooting for him, of course. He was a great coach, great mentor to all of us, and we know he's going to do great things at Oregon. And secondly, well, we know what we're getting with Coach Muschamp and Schumann. I think they're doing a co-thing where they're both going to be working together. Both those guys, from the start, it was kind of like we had a bunch of defensive coordinators in there. With Kirby being defensive head coach, Muschamp being a former coach, but mostly a defensive coach also, and all those guys. So imagine there was like 4 masterminds in defense on the defensive side of the football. So it's not really changing anything, and we're all comfortable with who's taking place, and and that's how we're going to move forward.
What makes you call them masterminds? What about those guys makes you call them masterminds, specifically Coach Schumann and Coach Muschamp?
I would say it's their years of experience, their years of coaching, everything they have under their name in terms of where they've been, the people they've coached. So it gives them credibility on how much they know. So that's why I call them masterminds. And I personally have learned a lot from all of them.
What kind of role do you think Coach Lanning's going to have during this full preparations and during the game?
I don't think his role's going to change. In my opinion, I think he's going to really soak in the last moment he has with us guys. The guys that he's coached, got to know who they are other than just football players. And he's going to soak in that moment before he takes on his job at Oregon. Other than that, I don't think his role is going to change much.
Have there been any meetings where someone else, I don't know who gets in front of the room and leads the defense, or any where you could see any change in how they're going to handle it over the next few weeks?
Well, way before hearing about the Lanning job, it wasn't just one man taking control of what's being said in the defensive meeting room. It was all of them, which is whether it was Lanning coming up and talking, Schumann coming up and talking. They all took turns to talk about something different. So, like I said again, we're not seeing anything new in that regards, because Coach Schumann has gotten out and talked about different things, and also Coach Muschamp has gotten out and talked about different things. So.
Switching gears a little bit, obviously you guys lost your last game, and what's it been like getting back to work, coming off a loss for the first time in a very long time? I mean, what's the response been like?
Honestly, it's a bitter taste to have lost, but it wakes you up, and it wakes you up, kind of gives you a sense of reality that you're not as great or as good as you had thought. You can get knocked down like this. So that only pushes us to really tighten everything up in terms of how we play going forward, because now it's a one-game season. You lose, you're out. So we have to make sure that we take the next games coming up seriously and put everything we have into it.
Lewis, the bust that you guys had defensively against Alabama, is that something that you think can carry over against Michigan, or they can see some flaws that you guys showed, or how do you kind of clean that up?
Honestly, I felt like we're doing a whole lot of different things. We switched up a whole lot of different things for Bama that we didn't do the whole season. But we've gone to what we know, and what worked for us the whole season. And to say I know what's gonna happen in the game, I can't see in the future. But I do know we're really in our comfort zone in terms of doing the things that we've done the whole season, and that's worked for us.
What kind of things?
Basically playing the sound defense, or the calls that doesn't involve you kind of chasing people around too much, or it doesn't involve you having to make so many checks and so many changes, where it's just simulated, where whoever moves, whoever changes, it plays.
Did you think there was a little bit of that paralysis by analysis in that last game then?
Come again?
You think there was a little bit too much in that last package for you guys in that last game? You talked about getting back to what you're doing and simplifying.
Yeah. I don't want to point fingers and make blames, but I think they might have been. But also, there's the part that we as players didn't really play to our standard. So it showed by the yardage, by the score, and we just got to go back to what we know, what we're used to, and what's worked.
What was the mood like getting back out? I guess you guys did some workouts last week before practice yesterday. How would you describe the mood in the locker room on the field?
The mood was really focused in terms of let's get back to business. No one was pouting. Everybody, the leaders, I would say, kind of had everybody rolling, and everyone was on the same page. So I think everyone's on the same page of knowing that now going forward, you win, you keep going, you lose, you're out. So they know how important this is.
You talked about a loss like that waking you up. Have you noticed, I guess, a tangible difference in the attitude or mentality of the team? Since then, does this group and building feel more woken up since that Alabama game?
Oh yeah, I'm sure of it. Let's use the situation of Alabama losing to A&M. I'm pretty sure they had a wake-up call too, the same way we did losing to them. So losing that game gave us a wake-up call, and to know that we're not invincible. We have a good defense, we have a great team, but we can lose if we're not in our top shape, if we're not ready. So every guy is really they're sharp right now and really on their toes to learn, to soak everything in, to really do things the right way moving forward.
Was it hard to get that wake-up call within the game? Because they scored 5 straight possessions, and I don't think you guys have given up 2 defensive touchdowns. As a first-team defense, almost it seemed like a game where just things snowballed right away. That's the first time that happened this year.
You said, was it hard?
Was it harder to kind of get that wake-up call within the game? That, like, looking back, was that part of the problem? That this was the first time y'all really faced that much adversity for defense in a game?
Honestly, I'll say that good it kind of happened. It happened at the time it did happen because it woke us up, 1, and 2, we know now what we have to work on moving forward because we're still in. Like everything's still in front of us in terms of making playoffs and possibly playing for a natty. So it's good that kind of happened.
Lewis, what have you seen from Michigan? Have you seen enough from Michigan to kind of get a feel for what you're going to be up against in a Big Ten power team? And yet I think I saw they had more plays over 50, 60, and 70 yards than anybody in the country. It seems almost a bit of a paradox that they're a power team that hits big plays.
They're a real tough team. I'll say that. They play big boy ball. They'll run the ball down your throat. They'll mix it up with their tight ends. They have some good slot receivers and wideouts. So they do a bunch of different combinations of stuff. But I've watched film on them, but I can't say about other people. But for right now, we're just working on us in terms of the things that we didn't do right. So just trying to fix those up right now before we really start diving into Michigan.
Lewis, do those types of games excite you when you guys have stopped the run so well? They've obviously had success, and like you said, big boy ball.
Mm-hmm. Of course, those games do excite me. It's a pound for pound. Whoever has the strongest will, whoever's the toughest, that's gonna win. Whoever does things the right way, that's gonna win. But there's also the part that a lot of the guys on their team, I know a lot of them. I played with a lot of them and competed with a lot of them. So there's also that friendly competition that I want to win. So that's pretty much it.
Just based on just normal recruiting circle stuff, or a lot of these guys personally?
Personally, like number 5, Mikey Sanderson, me and him played in high school. So it was both me and him, or both Asian, me and him. I know his parents. We eat, we break bread together. So a lot of it is personal. But other than that, half of the other guys are more recruiting, and I don't think you guys knew. It was heavy for me to lean towards Michigan if I didn't come here. So there was that, you know, what I'll say. There's that.
Is it kind of funny thinking back, like, Coach, you decided to come here and playing against them in a game like this magnitude?
Yeah, things would have been different. I'm sure if I would have been on that side, but good I'm on this side. So.
When y'all have, I mean, maybe not just you, but other guys in this team, when y'all play a team where, hey, I could have gone here instead of Georgia, does that motivate you guys, excite you guys, or I mean, or is it just kind of another game?
Well, it's just kind of another game because I'm not really going to get stuck on the past or I could have gone there. One way or another, I would have still been playing in this game. So it would have just been with a different jersey or a different helmet, but it's still the same thing at the end of the day.
What swung you to Georgia over Michigan in the end?
The fact that I wanted the heat. I don't think I wanted to be in the snow anymore. So I traded the coat for shorts, the short shirts, and sandals per se. So I didn't want to be in the cold anymore.
Okay, we have time for 2 more questions with Lewis.
What kind of revelations when you guys went back and watched the tape against Alabama on those? Were those busts? Were they just unable to run with Jameson Williams, unable to get pressure?
You want the truth or the lie?
I want the absolute truth.
Absolute truth. We'll face it on. There's a mirror in front of me right now. I'm gonna look in the mirror and say we did a whole lot of things wrong, player-wise, whatever it may be, coaching-wise. We did a whole lot of things wrong that didn't go well for us. So there was a whole lot of busts on our part. There was a lot of missed calls on our part. And clearly Alabama took advantage of it, and it showed. So now it's just move along, be honest with ourselves to say where did we go wrong, and we went wrong in a whole lot of ways. Now we just got to correct.
You sort of just answered the question a little bit, but did anything happen in that game that led you to think, gee, maybe we're not as good as I thought we were?
Talently, we are great talently, but clearly we didn't play our A game. You know what I mean? We just assignments were busting assignments that are easy when we're just not playing well to our standards. So that's pretty much what happened.
Okay, thanks, y'all.